Let me start my presentation. So my name is Abhiram Patil, and I'm presenting a paper which I wrote around a month ago. I just submitted it. It is stated as AI-driven mobile infrastructure systems. Let me introduce my infrastructure first. So according to me, what I have researched on, what I have figured out is our infrastructure right now. Let it be wherever in the world. Let it be here in America, in Chicago. Chicago is very well developed city, or even in India, such as cities like Mumbai. You will find the infrastructure. The cities are well developed with buildings or even the bungalows for people, or even the societies or infrastructures for classrooms or hotel rooms. All are developed. But you see, all those structures are fixed, like a coral reef. And if any demand changes, you have a situation where you have to either invest onto developing the land or developing the infrastructure first, and then the problem statement, then you usually focus on the problem statement. So majority of time what happens is your most of the intellect goes into thinking of investments and things around your concept to work rather than the concept itself. And obviously to find out the teams and adequate people who actually are interested, or who actually have that mindset to work with you on your particular concept, let it be any concept. So for those, your problem statements are mostly the infrastructure is fixed, the team which you are supposed to find. Obviously humans are social people, and usually humans work with teams and they perform well in teams. But for in order to connect yourself with your adequate colleagues, you need to explain them properly, you need to summarize your concept, and you need to figure out uh, which of the colleagues or which of your fellow human beings would be able to help you with your own concepts. So for that, structure is being developed, which I called as AI-driven mobile infrastructure framework. You can see a pamphlet where I have given a feedback loop or a structure, which is an end-to-end pipeline of the framework, which lets you connect with the people using your conversational data, for example, through chats in Chat GPT. If you have seen AI being used in Chat GPT, what it does, it summarizes your topic. For example, let's say I am a scientist who is researching on, let's consider a conceptual concept, that I am researching on how do I travel to the moon. And for that, in a specific topic, I am, I am researching on the, what do we say, orbits around it and the satellites around it, the paths of the orbits, which would be very easier for me to, jump from Earth to moon. And that's my research. And I am trying to, search for the people who have similar interests. For example, let's say I'm in Chicago and I'm researching on paths to the moon, and say some other person who is in Texas, he is also thinking of similar thing about space exploration, and he is trying to design spacesuits. So for me, this particular concept, that space exploration is a common point between me and another fellow human. So that particular thing, if we if you can see over this image, the Chat GPT on the recents can give you a summary of your particular topic, which you are which you are researching on. And once it has been summarized, you can find the topic of similar topics or similar summaries of the conversation for other people as well. And we can connect those summarizing topics to algorithms, the friend suggesting algorithms which are present in Facebook and Instagram, which usually suggest you some friends based on your mutuals or based on I have shown it into the image second that you usually get suggestions of friends with a particular algorithm. If an algorithm of chat GPT summarizing got connected to friend suggestion algorithms into social medias, you can easily connect the fellow people who are working on to the common topics by using the social media. You can connect them and you can send the request for you to either be friend and to connect with your topic and to mingle, or you can just have a connection with a fellow human being who is thinking just like you. That is the second part of our systems, where sentence are usually embedded using AI. Conversation of the text and dense vectors are being, figured out, sorted out. And then those based on those vectors and based on the people who are connected with you, artificial intelligence or an algorithm will connect you to the fellow people who have your common thought. And once you get connected to them, you have applications such as Google Maps, which can plot you down on a particular dashboard exactly where your location is and what is the easiest route for you and your fellow friend to get connected, maybe to start working on the particular topic which you have common and you have started discussing on. So once you have understand the demand and once you have clustered the demand, you can easily gather them together at a particular location using maps. You can figure that out into applications like Snapchat as well, where if somebody shares your location, let it be anywhere in the world, the Snapchat map shows the particular location and shows the particular locations of your friend circle where it is present all over the world. Similarly, you can show the particular locations of the people who have common interests, just as you. Maybe you can think of connecting with them, or maybe say you can, online have an online connection and increase your pool socially. Now, why do we have to connect with them? Usually, from my perspective, what I think is the way for a vehicle, you need a fuel for it to move. For the development as well, a thought of a human being or a general thought is a developing fuel for it is a fuel for development of the society, is what I think. So the way electricity is a fuel for electronics to function, fuel or oil is a fuel for engines to function. Idea is a fuel for development to function. And for that, you need the ideas to implement smoothly and not have any other issues along with that idea, which you need to focus on, which will deflect or which would deflect the focus of your idea other than having an implementation on it. So what what can be a way out of you just focusing on idea and not focusing on the situations? For example, me as a bachelor, I have been traveling outside my home since I was 18 to be educated. So me, for me to be Bachelor of Electronics and Telecommunication, I traveled from Kolhapur to another city, which is Pune. I stayed there in a rented apartment for 4 years. And what I feel is that I invested a lot on furniture, which is not even in my own house. And after the graduation is done, I had to move again to do masters to another country, and for which I couldn't take my furnitures anywhere. So it was just as a loss of investment considering. But you can think of it in this way. Right now at present, after 18, since you turn 18, you are legally eligible to get driver's license anywhere in the world. Even when even since I joined United States, I have seen, or I have seen many students drive Uber or drive cab over here, or maybe specifically there are Sikh communities over here who are specifically famous for driving trucks over here. That means for the people to get for a people to get an employment, you just need a platform. It's legally possible for you to get a driver's license of a vehicle, large vehicle like a truck, whenever you are of the age 18. And that's when generally you cross your higher secondary school and get to your degree school. And majority of times I think that that's the time in the life when students get out of their house and start moving, maybe start staying rented for them to improve their career, to focus on their career, and so on. But let's say once you turn 18 and the norms are set in such way that your parents allow you to have a truck or an RV, recreational vehicle, like a van, on your 18th birthday, that you can take to your university. And rather than you staying in a rented apartment, you stayed in an RV, which is, let's say, as big as a PMT bus, ST bus, which everybody in India has seen. Just remove the seats out of it and make it a 1 RK or a 1 BHK bedroom, 1 BHK apartment. And let's say I've shown it over here. Just a minute. I have shown some of the images over here. So an RV or a van can either be used as an apartment or as an electronic shop. So I work in an electronic shop right now, and as a startup, I have pitched a moving van to them. What I do is, whenever the customers call, we ask them that either they can visit the store if they want to buy any games or something, but if it's just the 20 minutes work, that they have to repair the phone, or if they have to replace the HDMIs on PS5, it's just a 20 minutes work. So what I do is I charge them $50 extra, that me or my company or my team will reach out to your apartment with our electronic shop. And within 20 minutes, if there is a phone screen replacement, battery replacement, or PlayStation's HDMI replacement, we'll do it within 20 minutes in front of your house. As it's done, we'll do our payment and we'll leave to our store. That's what we are doing with electronic shop right now. Similarly, for you can do it for food stalls, for medical ambulances, or even for bachelors' houses, was the applications of it. So through that, we can use BERT embeddings and semantic similarity to find out the common topics out of it. You can use k-mean clustering to map the exact locations where you and your friend can. It's a mean location kind of thing where you and your friend can locate yourself and start doing your project. Facility selection and capacity, time window, and constrained vehicle will be selected by the, you know, basis of what type of project or what type of vehicle you are interested in. Say, for example, you need a lab. So you can, ask the framework that I need such type of vehicle, which is a lab that can help me in, that can help me into gathering the team and to work on this particular project. And also I want that lab or any other car to use as recreational vehicle where I can stay. Now, if you consider an example of such system, I will think of suburban places like myself. I come from Kolhapur, and we have a university there as well that's called as TKI. It's an engineering college called TKIT Varnanagar, and there is a McDonald's in our city, but the McDonald's is right inside the center of the city, whereas the college is into a suburban place. And due to the McDonald's norms, that is, you need to require like such amount of this amount of vehicles to go from that particular area, we can't exactly open a McDonald's store inside our engineering college. So for such type of implementations, we can use our AI-driven infrastructure system where the companies like food chains, franchisees of such as McDonald's can use a food truck that can, that can be assigned a particular radius. Let's say over here, I have shown an example where McDonald's have assigned 3 food trucks into a particular radius. What it does is this is a synthetic benchmark, completely theoretical benchmark. What we have taken is from just one store to the university, it usually is 14 or 20 kilometers travel time. For if some student is interested to eat McDonald's and wants to go and have McDonald's, he has to travel 20 kilometers to have McDonald's and be back. Rather than that, if say a smart kitchen on wheels is being implemented, and based on the order clusters, let's say in TKIT Varnanagar, rather than just one student, 10 more students have ordered McDonald's. So what McDonald's can do is they can just put that amount of food into the storage into a truck, and they can send their, let's say, a red truck into that particular area, which can, roam around that particular area at particular amount of particular time. Let's say it's after 9 to 5, and the offices colleges usually, the students leave the colleges to go to home. At that time, you can find the crowd as well, through which you can run the food truck through, and find for the profits and the investments. So such examples I have presented over here. What it does is it reduces, I mean, theoretically, it reduces the access distance 50%. So 14.4 kilometer was the travel distance. If a food truck has been deployed into the particular area, the average travel distance lowers down to 5.8 kilometers. By that, you can save fuel as well, rather than people, doing 10 minutes delivery on the bikes using Swiggy and DoorDash. Yeah. For the Maps application, you can take a good example of Swiggy and DoorDash. Earlier days, you need to be a local of that particular city for you to understand all the routes of the city and to reach each and every houses. But since Swiggy and DoorDash type of applications have been developed, a person who needs to find a job as a delivery driver doesn't exactly needs to be local of that city or needs to know each and every routes where he is going, because there is a concept of maps inside Swiggy which can easily direct you to any of the location where the order has came from. So this particular maps things in the dashboard can also be implemented as, again, yeah, a maps that will help you out to, navigate the city easily. So yeah, these are some of the applications of the food truck or AI driven infrastructure which I was implementing. All this infrastructure, along with the system like ChatGPT and the system like Maps, can be implemented into an RV using the dashboard where you can visualize and plot each and everything. Maybe when while you are driving or when you are not driving. Obviously, while you're driving, looking at the dashboard will be a hazardous thing. But yeah, you can have a system that is made into a vehicle that will allow a person to look at a dashboard, which is connected to an artificial intelligence as a chat GPT and a social media just like Facebook and Instagram, which is connecting you to the people who are like-minded people like us, and giving you a map where you can cluster yourself to develop the project. Or maybe if you say it can be implemented for moving shops as well. Just for example, I gave an just now I gave an example of electronic shop and food. This can be implemented in the situations of COVID as well. Either way, you have seen ambulances using this type of system when you are into a pandemic or crisis. You have seen that governments usually mark the red zones and yellow zones for the by the basis of how much amount of people were having COVID during that time. So we had a benchmark. We knew how to create a benchmark either way. We just wanted a system which would run over that benchmark. For example, not just for the COVID, but say through a social media or through chat application, some patient has raised that he feels very heavy on the heart since 1 or 2 days. He might require some assistance on it. And based on that chat and based on that topic, you figured out that particular patient or particular person requires our help with ambulance or requires our technology with ambulance so that his life can be saved. What this application or what this framework can do is it can figure out the exact problem that okay, he is feeling heavy on his chest since 2 days, and it's an urgent query. So we need to deploy a semi ambulance with a semi operation theater, maybe not just an ambulance which can make you travel, which can allow travel of patient from his house to hospital, but maybe a semi-operation theater inside an ambulance itself, which figures out that, okay, this is a particular patient which requires uh, to address issue with his heart. So this is the particular system which is needed to be deployed in this particular area. Maybe some people are suffer maybe some people have problems with fever, so that ambulance can also address those people. into that particular society along with a person who is having heart issues. It's just an example that I am giving of a medical application of it. Now, what could be the limitations and future work of this? Since it is a synthetic benchmark only, we actually need the conversational data sets just like ChatGPT has for its own application. And we also will need a real world validation and optimization for it. And also there is a there if we address that there would be multiple you know moving vehicles in future, it'll require a lot amount of space, a parking space as well for those vehicles to be parked. So for that, there is an implementation or there is an example of leveled parking system, which you can see in this part in the image in right hand corner. In many societies, even in Pune, I have seen this technology being worked into parkings where if any family or any owners of the apartment have two vehicles with them into their parking lot, they generally don't give two spaces. They have a leveled parking system in which if one vehicle is put in and you press a button, uh, the lifts a car on the first level and lower level is empty on which you can park your second car. What my thought process was, we can create a leveled parking system, a skeleton of building, a complete building through this, and you can allow the buses or the way I said 1 BHK or 2 BHK recreational vehicles to park into such systems which would act as a skeleton of a building. In such way, you will not need a rigid system like a rigid apartment, which I mentioned into the start of the presentation, where I went for my bachelor's and stayed there, giving the rent. Rather than that, if those skeletal structures are being implemented into the society, I can reach out to those skeletal structures to book a place, to book a slot for me. I can have my own recreational truck. I can park over there till certain amount of time. Say my bachelor's was of 4 years, so I can book that spot for 4 years. And rather than me investing into all the furnitures for an apartment which belongs to someone else, I can invest into the furnitures and the products which will stay with me forever, because when my bachelor's on or my task in that particular location is done, I would be able to e- take myself on the ground floor and get out of that place, because it's just a skeleton, it's not a rigid building, it's a truck which has been converted to 1 BHK that I can take out of that parking system and maybe go to another location where I can stay. Say, okay, I have crossed the country right now, but say for the masters, I have chosen to go to IIT Delhi from bachelor's, which was in VIT Pune. So I can pack my bags up, I can pack my car up, I can pack my truck up, I can find another skeleton which is near IIT Delhi, and I can take my car. I can find directions using the dashboard's maps. I can reach out to particular people from IIT Delhi for me to book that spots, maybe through social media. That okay, I came to know that I want through Chat GPT that I want to go to IIT Delhi and find an apartment there. So Chat GPT summarized it and suggested me that I have found such skeletons over there. This is just an imaginary concept. I have found such skeletons at IIT Delhi. You can reach out to them and book your spot. So I reached out to them using a social media, which I mentioned. I booked my spot over there. Then I confirmed my location, which came to the maps, which plotted the directions from my current state to my destination. And we have our auto driving systems like Tesla, which can help me to autopilot my truck to any particular location which I intend to. I can park over there for maybe 2 more years so that I can complete my master's. And I don't have to invest more into the furniture over there because obviously I'm a human being. I'll require a bed. I'll require to invest into a study table, a bed, and utensils for kitchen, which I won't because I already have it from my previous bachelor's and I took my truck to my master's location. So that's the future work we can do. The conclusion of this presentation, I would like to say is that through my concept, I wanted to express that we should treat infrastructure placement as dynamic decision rather than it being rigid like a coral reef. The conversation driven demand can improve the service accessibility of that dynamic decision. And this five-stage framework, from signal to rollout to verify to stabilize and consolidate it, can happen, and we can track our development using this framework easily rather than the ideas be just implemented without a proper ground, or for a human to invest into the proper ground rather than to invest into ideas. This system can give that whole framework and automation, which can help a particular human, a particular brain to focus on the idea itself rather than other things. All right, guys, that's all from my side. If you have any questions, you can go forward with the questions. Am I audible?
Yeah. If any participant has any question, they can raise their hand.
All right, guys, that was my time. And if you all have no question, this was my framework which I wanted to introduce through presentation, and that was it.
Thank you, Abhiram, for sharing your innovative ideas on AI driven mobile infrastructure. We appreciate your valuable insights and contribution to today's conference. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome.